Welcome to the Locks DFS Podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Christian Hardy, and we're about to dig into Week 4 of the NFL season. I'm glad I said that right. Literally, when I said Week 4 just now, I thought about it being wrong because I said 2019 earlier instead of 2018. But we've recorded this intro a bunch of times because Taylor's Wi-Fi has been garbage. I think that's honestly, I think I'm taking
really to say the least. Yeah,
Yeah.
to say the least. I mean, we've been in the Zoom chat for like 2.5 hours, but we're out here trying to put out some free content for you guys. This dedication is for you.
It's like midnight. Oh, no. Hey, all right, let's just start this over. Let's just go ahead and dig into the slate right now on DraftKings and FanDuel because we don't know how long.
Start clean. Because
I already recorded all this. I can cut this together. So, let's just kind of get into it. I mean, we like to go position by position, as you guys know. So, let's start with quarterback on DraftKings. Obviously, Taylor has done videos on his favorite quarterback plays of the week. In the video, he mentioned it was Andy Dalton, and it was what was the other?
Matt Ryan. It was Matt Ryan.
I can't remember if it was Drew Brees or Matt Ryan. That's what.
Yeah, and this was early in the week, and I thought I was being like semi-sneaky about it because when I recorded those videos, the game total rather was at like 49 or something. It had risen from 48 to 49, and then it's all the way up to 53.5 right now, which is just like an absurd jump, and it's getting chalkier and chalkier as the week goes on. But I was on it originally when the game total was lower, so I'm still gonna ride there. It's definitely in cash games for sure.
Looks like in terms of cash, another guy people are going to at the bottom there, Baker Mayfield on DraftKings. He should be a pivot off of Andy Dalton, and on looking over on FanDuel, the most popular quarterbacks are after Andy Dalton, Phillip Rivers, and Deshaun Watson, who are just a tick up from those two on just as ownership. But if we want to go to DraftKings alone, I mean, if we want to stick with those high-priced guys on DraftKings just for analysis' sake, I mean, obviously Matt Ryan is probably where you're going if you're paying up Taylor. And Addy, you can contribute too. But where do you guys think you're going in the top end of quarterbacks? I'd say 6K and up.
I mean, I'm not going. Matt Ryan's my QB like 1 overall in a vacuum. So there's no way I'm not playing Tom Brady. I'm not playing Drew Brees. I mean, I could see Drew Brees being a play, but Matt Ryan's a really good spot, and I think they're – team totals up to like 29 right now. 28, 29. I don't know. It's up there. So I don't know. I'm not going anywhere else besides those two quarterbacks personally.
Addy, you looking anywhere at the top?
Yeah, I mean, all these guys are interesting. Obviously, we know the splits for the Patriots coming off of 2 losses and the whole angry top narrative. They are getting Josh Gordon back. So it'll be interesting to see how that opens up the offense. Because I think that does free up Gronk a lot. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. But I don't know if I'm going to pay up there, man. I think I'm kind of looking into this high, mid, low range in the high fives. I think that's where I'm kind of shooting for my QB this week. This is kind of the week that we're kind of getting into the parts of the season where, like, all right, I think we're paying down for QBs now. We're getting that kind of, back to how it usually is,
Yeah, and there's quite a few guys.
And paying for those mid – I was going to just say that paying for those mid –
I felt that.
Paying for the mid-range QBs, I think that's – like, let's just run with it. Like, I would just talk over – we'll just talk over it.
Yeah, I feel you.
All right.
I mean, there's lots of options there at the mid-range. Like, I mean, you could honestly almost consider Matt Ryan mid-range. He's just kind of the start of that mid-range. But, I mean, other than that, you got Eli at 5'6", who I know Addy, you have a lot of interest in. And I've been saying Eli all week as well. And Taylor is not with me. But Addy was looking at her just a little bit ago, and he was talking about Eli. So.
Right. I mean, this game, the total, just like Taylor talked about with the Bengals game, the total in this game is ticking up as well. It's up about 2 points, opened at 49.5. It's sitting at 51.5 right now. The Saints are up a point. The Giants are up a point. The spread is still 3.5 with the Saints favorites, and that's good for Eli. They're supposed to be trailing, but it's just a weak team, man. I mean, we've seen the Saints get ripped up to start the season. They're missing their cornerback, Patrick Robinson. That's another blow. We saw Eli speed up his tempo, which I think is great for him. I think is great for Odell as well on these quick routes, getting ball in his hand real quick. I think that's beneficial for the Giants as a whole. It kind of masks one of their weaknesses, which is their offensive line. But one of the Saints' weaknesses is their pass rush. So I think that kind of helps the Giants as well. And I think the Giants are going to put up points this game, man. I think the Giants can put up over 30 points this game. And I like a lot of that to come through Eli Manning.
I think I saw the other day that the Giants haven't scored more than 30 points since like 2016.
I think this is the week, man. I think this is the week.
If there is a week, it's going to be this, just because I know the Saints for sure are going to put up points. They're going to be popular. Kamara's going to be popular. But with Emmett Ingram out for the Giants, I really like – it's really easy to game stack this just because the Giants are so condensed. It's going to be Eli. It's going to be Sterling Shepard. And it's going to be Saquon Barkley. You're going to get Odell Beckham at super low owned. I know you guys like him a lot. I like him a lot too, but I don't know. I like this offense, I guess. But if I'm paying for a quarterback in that range, it's going to be Andy Dalton for me.
Yeah, I mean, we've just talked about it's the year of the supporting cast. We talk about it in every video, and I really like the supporting cast. I saw in one of the YouTube videos I was talking about that this was like arguably the best supporting cast in the league, and someone commented like the Chiefs are. That's probably another topic of conversation. It probably is the Chiefs, but regardless, this is still a super talented supporting cast. Eli hasn't had a cast like this in a while, and I do think it's going to help mitigate a lot of his deficiencies. I think he has a decent year, and this is like as cake of a matchup as it gets. And so I really like Eli, especially if he's going to be under-owned.
I guess we'll get to Odell later, so I guess I'll bring that up later. I mentioned the Baker chalk, chalky, a little bit chalky of a pivot off of Dalton. And I'm totally with Taylor on 100 for Dalton over Baker. Seems like a 100% a move that I'll be making if I'm going there, not Eli. But what is the thought on Baker? And can you guys see the reason why people are going Baker? Because I definitely can see the validation in a Baker and in Njoku, and especially as a popular GPP pivot off of those guys.
I mean, that's just like the pure definition of bad chalk and recency bias. I mean, he played decently well when he came in, but I don't know. Their team total is dropping. Not much, but it's wait, is it dropping?
A little bit, but
okay, it's at 21 right now. Regardless, the supporting cast is decent with Jarvis Landry, Antonio Callaway. Not much of a running game.
Njoku.
Unless you consider Carlos Hyde in that offensive line decent. Njoku, yeah, I do like Njoku. If it's anyone on the offense that I like, it's Njoku. But I don't know. I don't know any reason why you would pay the same price as Andy Dalton for Baker Mayfield, and the team total's like 4 points less, 3.5 points less.
Right, and when you really view this matchup, I mean, going into Oakland has always been a tough place to play. Oakland's always played well at home, and I think Oakland. I mean, they're projected for 21 points. That's 3 touchdowns. It's not. You're looking for a lot more than that when you're rostering a QB. You know, I don't know. I mean, we saw the offense look good, but a lot of that was how much did he come in versus the Jets, Baker? Yeah, right. How much? How much were the Jets prepared to see Baker? That kind of plays into the success that we saw. But I don't know. I just feel as though I agree with Taylor. I think I'm off Baker. I'd much rather pay for Andy Dalton, or just pay up a little more for Eli Manning as well.
I really like Taylor said, Njoku is probably my favorite target of those as well. I think that's pretty much going to do it for quarterback, and which is kind of, I feel like we went through that really fast. But I think looking at it, those are the guys that really stand out to me. I don't even think we need to go into a lot of other options, because I think we're going to be pretty much on those guys. And I think Baker as maybe a GPP, but I mean, that's just a popular GPP guy I want to talk about. I don't think I'll be going there. I don't think any of us will be going there. I think we're pretty much landing on those 3 guys.
Yeah, it's pretty much it's Dalton and Ryan and Cash, and then Eli in GPP for us at least.
Yeah, yep, that's what it looks like. All right, let's move on then, I guess, to running back, where, again, I'll kind of mention where we're at. Taylor, in your video, you had Gio and you had Zeke, right?
Yeah, Gio, Zeke, and then David Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Just because David Johnson is so cheap on DraftKings. But it's funny because I thought Zeke was going to be chalk, but I guess he's not going to be chalk, which is crazy just because of the matchup, the game flow, and it's true. Literally.
I can pick that up. I can pick that up because Taylor's Wi-Fi cuts in and out. So when that happens, I'll just try and pick up the thought because I agree with the thought. Like Zeke, as far as the touchdown equity you get with Zeke is just absurd, and the fact that we know Dallas is going to score at least 3 touchdowns in this game, they should dominate a soft. Dallas's strength when we see Dallas succeed is when they're running the ball and when they can establish that run game. And this is a paper soft defense. I mean, they've been giving up over 6 yards a carry on the ground. So I really like this matchup. I think it's a get-right game for Zeke. But on the other end of this, I mean, if Zeke struggles in this matchup, it's pretty alarming. So
that's what I was going to say. I mean, it's alarming for me it's alarming for me on the Cowboys offense. I don't think I'll ever – if they can't perform in a matchup like this, I don't think I'm going to be looking to them at all because if they can't perform here, then this offense is just a complete – I mean, I saw that absolutely idiotic Jerry Jones quote the other day about talking about how this offense like the Rams. I think that was actually today.
Yeah.
Talking about how, we have Tavon Austin now. We can be like the Rams. Nah, man. This offense is slow. It's old. It's boring.
This offense
boring is Zeke up the middle. Boring is throwing the ball to Zeke. Boring is throwing to these. I mean, who's their end zone target also? Like, that's another thing with touchdown equity. Yeah, I guess. Right.
Yeah, it's funny.
No, I'm playing. There's nobody. There's nobody there. Yeah.
Outside of Zeke, literally.
Honestly.
Yeah. There's no one there.
Yeah, outside of Zeke, literally nobody is
Yeah.
Am I cutting in and out?
You said fantasy relevant, but yeah.
Fantasy relevant, yep.
It's just crazy. I was just saying because I think everyone's going to play Kamara this week, and I think Zeke is a better play straight up, which I know is contrarian. But now that he's involved in the passing game, having 6 targets per game so far this year, and the Lions giving up over 150 yards per game on the ground and 6.3 yards per carry, I don't know how you fade Zeke. He has only been getting like 15, 16, 17 touches a game so far. And I would imagine we've seen it in years past that he's going to get 25 to 30 carries, and this is the exact game that he could do it. He has upside to having 2-3 touchdowns this game, and I know that's kind of outlandish, but it seems definitely in the realm of possibilities. And he's only 7.7K on DraftKings, and he's 8.2K on FanDuel, just entirely too cheap.
Yeah, we haven't had a vintage Zeke game in a while. I think we could get it this week, just a vintage,
He had a good week.
He's due for positive regression.
He looked. I played him last week, and he looked great last week. Like,
he looked great.
The ball in his hands, he looked incredible. Like he looked like Zeke. He's still there. So
if he had a couple touchdowns, that would have been a vintage Zeke week.
For sure.
Yep.
Because that's what he does. He just picks up 130 yards like it was nothing. Like you didn't even notice it happen.
How crazy is it that Kamara is 1,900 more than him on DraftKings, and Kamara is going to be the chalk in a game script that's likely to be not in his favor, just considering that.
I mean, the one thing on Kamara, just to finish that thought, the one thing on Kamara is just like, I mean, every time I play a running back versus the Giants, I'm always shocked by how dominant of a run stopper Snacks Harrison is in the middle. Like, this dude is just a disruptor. Like, it just ruins run games. I mean, the past couple of years, he's been the number one run stopper in the league, man. This guy's just crazy. So it's like, that kind of ruins a lot of Kamara's upside just when he runs up the middle. I know his upside comes from receptions, and that's a place where you can have success versus the Giants. But I'm comfortable fading a $9,600 running back on the road who statistically, obviously is as an offense performs better at home.
I think I'm probably not going to look as much as Saquon this week, but we saw if they get a negative game script what they're going to do. And I think it's going to be it could be a lot of Saquon passes. So I think you can make an argument for all 3 of these backs right behind Kamara as Kamara pivots. As we're looking at ownership, Kamara's coming in as like the highest. So I guess the second thing I want to talk about with running back is just we know Gio Bernard is a chalk, both sites. So I guess and this can be for either of you guys, and we love Gio. Like we all have talked about our lineups this week in construction, and we think it's going to be with Gio in it, all of us. But if you are looking for a Gio pivot here. And I think I know the answer, but who do you think could be the Gio pivot here? It kind of in the same price range or within 1,000 down from Gio. Kind of a running back 2, I guess, if you want to say that. A running back 2 pivot off of Gio.
Wait, who are you talking about?
No, I think he's asking us.
Yeah, I'm asking you what running back 2 you would
I
like.
haven't really looked
you
at.
were to pivot off of Gio.
I mean, in the
really
range, probably David Johnson.
Oh yeah, I can see that. I haven't looked at ownership too much. I'm looking at ownership right now though, and I see that Tevin Coleman is like not supposed to be that owned, which is pretty crazy. Because I mean, if you watch the Addy's action video I put out, I chose not to include Tevin Coleman because I thought he was going to be chalk coming into the week. I mean, I made the video on Tuesday. But looking at it, man, he's not looked at. People are looking at Gio, which makes a lot of sense. But I mean, the Falcons team total is rising a substantial amount as well. I mean, they're at 1.8 points. I know the Bengals are up 3.2, but it's still a significant rise in this entire total. And I think, I mean, at the end of the day, there's still a home favorite versus a really, really weak run defense that doesn't have Vontaze Burfict. And they lost their run-stopping defensive tackle, Ryan Glasgow, for the season with the ACL. So that just burns them even more. We saw McCaffrey burn them last week right up the middle. Christian McCaffrey was really having success running between the tackles. Like, that's one of the first times we've ever seen Christian McCaffrey have success running between the tackles in the NFL. Like, really, like, successfully like that. And that was versus in this exact same matchup. I'm super high. I might actually like Tevin Coleman more than Giovanni Bernard. Just straight up. So it's crazy that he's not being talked about that much. I see Taylor shaking his head, but is that
the type of play that Addy will put into his lineup come Sunday morning?
Yeah, definitely.
I'll definitely play him because I thought he was going to be chalk early in the week. He'll 100% be in my cash game lineup. Like, if he's not owned, it's just like I mean, it could be a very easy way that this game plays out is just Atlanta dominating.
You're not going to finish that sentence, Addy? You're not going to finish the sentence if he's not owned?
Oh.
If he's not – you started saying if he's not owned.
Oh, if he's not owned? Oh, if he's not owned, I'll be jamming him in everywhere. If he's not owned, I'll be jamming him in everywhere. Especially with Zeke, man. My cash game build is probably going to be – I mean – getting Zeke and Coleman, you're getting 2 3-down backs. These are both 3-down backs. Tevin Coleman's snap share rose by a significant margin over Ito Smith last game, which is kind of what people were worried about. I don't think that's a concern anymore. I think Tevin Coleman's the guy, and he's a 3-down back. I mean, he gets the ball in the red zone. He catches passes. He runs between the tackles, and we've seen this matchup being abused for the first three weeks of the season. So I'll continue doing that.
Personally, I know Taylor, you want to talk. I just wanted to say real quick that I think that I'll go. I think that if I am going to pivot off Gio, I'd rather go down to him than a running back on a team like Arizona right now. That's where I think. But Taylor, I think that you might prefer David Johnson, right?
No.
Okay.
I'd prefer Tevin Coleman. I mean, the more I look into it, the more I like it. You saw week 2 when Devontae Freeman first went down. He was 5,300, and he was just like the fattest chalk. Did relatively well, and then he was decent again the next week too. And in his ownership keeps going down, which is weird. And considering that he's still Jesus, my mic just went out. Considering that he's a big-time favorite against the Bengals and their team total is rising as well as the game total, I don't know why his ownership is so low. Game script seemed per Vegas it should set up well for him, and having Gio on the other side to go back and forth is somewhere I'm probably going to go. I like the idea of having him, Gio, and Zeke.
I mean, yeah, he was pretty decent chalk last week, especially amongst sharps. I noticed a bunch of sharps that had him at home, 6,400 versus the Saints. I would argue that this matchup is more fantasy friendly than that matchup.
Definitely, I agree.
And he's 500 cheaper. So I'm like, that's one thing I'm pretty surprised about. I mean, I chose not to speak about him because I thought he was just going to be like the obvious chalk. So
I'm confused as why his price dipped.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, he didn't have a great game, but we saw the snap share rise back up to the amount that we're comfortable rostering him. Like, we know he's the unquestioned lead back.
Right. I mean, he's kind of guaranteed for like 17, 18 plus touches in that sub 6K. I don't know how you paid it.
Yeah. Next thing I want to talk about, running back, is which I didn't. I mean, I guess it makes sense now. The Rex Burkhead is out, and everyone is kind of on New England right now. It seems like, or at least invested in New England right now because things are going so badly, or interested in New England. Sonny Michel is coming in at about 20% on both sites. I'd imagine that number will be up higher in cash, possibly. He's cheap on both sides, 4.5K on FanDuel, DK, and I believe he is like 6'3" or 5'9" on FanDuel. So he's coming in around 20% on both sides. And I guess the question I'll ask you guys is, do you guys buy Sonny Michel at this price?
I mean, for his projected workload and them being favored against Miami, it's definitely worth a shot. I don't want to say it's bad chalk because I don't know. It makes sense just because with Jeremy Hill and Rex Burkhead now on IR and James White almost exclusively being out there just for the passing game, he's just like the lead guy. And I feel like he's going to get a million chances even though he's been running poorly. How many carries he got last week? He got
like 15
14 carries last
14.
week.
Yeah.
I mean, they spent a first-round pick on him, so like I said, they're going to give him a million chances. And in a game that they should be leading. I mean, you saw in years past when the game script is favorable for running backs, whether it be LeGarrette Blount or whoever or Rex Burkhead, there's upside of having 2 or 3 touchdowns, and that price, I don't know, it's worth a shot for sure. I don't know if I can stomach it in cash though.
Addy, I want you to just destroy Sonny Michel because I want to destroy Sonny Michel, and I want you to do it for me.
Yeah, it's bad chalk.
Yeah, it's bad chalk. I hate it.
Anytime a Bill Belichick running back is chalk is bad chalk. This matchup doesn't even really set up too well for him. Here's the thing. The case for him is he's going to get double-digit carries.
There is a case for Sonny Michel. I don't want it to come off like that.
And the Patriots are going to score a lot of points. And he's going to get their goal line work. So if they're close by, there's a good chance Sonny Michel is going to score a touchdown. Maybe multiple. Who knows? And that's what Taylor was saying. And that's the case.
I would also say that last week they showed a propensity to jam him the ball. And whether they do that again, we don't really know. But last week they showed that they might want to do that.
The case against him is the fact that how poorly last week when he was the focus of their game plan. Belichick isn't really a reactionary coach. He's not really results-based. But I think the results of that and sort of what we've been just hearing about the Patriots in general may be a little bit more like, all right, let's ease the nerves. Tom, go throw 5 touchdowns, you know? And I don't know if Sonny Michel is going to really eat in a game like that. And this game, I mean, the Miami has been playing good run defense, but where they've been lacking is to running backs receiving running backs, which really sets up for James White more than Sonny Michel. So I could see this game being more of a James White game than a Sonny Michel game. I think the Patriots also want to just get him the ball more in general, especially with Rex Burkhead going out. You know, I think that really actually helps James White more receiving role-wise.
Last thing we should do with this position here, I think this will kind of get us through all the running back ranges, is kind of list off pivots for Michel here. If you're going for a cheap guy down here and you don't want it to be Michel, who do you want it to be? And I can list a few, but if you guys want to go off the top.
I mean, personally, with roster construction this week, everyone's going to play Gio. And then I don't know if I'm going to dip below Tevin Coleman, to be honest, just because the AK range is so good, just with Melvin Gordon and Zeke right there. And then even Kamara, if you want to spend that much. I don't know if I'm going to be diving down here at all. Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going down here either. If I do, I could see a case for playing Marshawn Lynch. I mean, I think he's third in the league in carries inside the 10-yard line. So he's got a high volume of the thing that scores you the most points in fantasy football, which is touchdowns. So he's always in play. I mean, he's a home favorite. But this Browns defense is no joke. Their run defense is legit. As it was last year. I mean, we saw it last year. Now they have those 2 sophomores breaking out right now, Myles Garrett and Ogunjobi. So I think there's a case for it, but just like Taylor said, I'm paying up at running back, and as cheap as I'm going is Coleman.
Yeah, and if you're a member of ours, you saw that I put Marshawn Lynch on the cheat sheet. But as the week went on and I looked more into this Browns defense, it might be like a top 3 defense overall in the league.
Can I give you my guy under him?
Yeah, do it.
Kerryon Johnson. No Sean Lee this week for the Cowboys. Kerryon Johnson was killing it last week. I think Detroit could probably run with the lead in this game. And if it's not going to be a lead, if Dallas can show that they can put up points on the board, I still think they want to use Kerryon Johnson to try to keep up with Dallas. I doubt that Dallas is going to put up points like that, but I don't know. They used him a ton last week. He looked really good. First running back, 100-yard rusher for Detroit and however long it was. So I like Kerryon Johnson at 4.4, 18 touches last week. So that's mine.
I like that call.
I was going to say that the only way I could see my construction going that way is if I decide to pay for Gronk. Probably is what's going to happen is what I'm guessing. I haven't done a lot of construction. I spend a lot of my time during the week on soccer and college football and shit. So
Right. I mean, it really is. When you think about it, it really is crazy how much more talented that Detroit offense is than that Dallas offense. So, I mean, a legit game script of this game could very well be like, we saw Matt Patricia do this to the Patriots. Like, he could just run the ball, keep Dallas off the field, just kind of take Dallas's game plan to Dallas. So I like that Kerryon Johnson call.
Sean Lee, without Sean Lee, the Cowboys allowed 1.3 more yards per carry. So last year.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
So yeah, that'll be, and also the Cowboys' strengths are on the edge, not between the tackles on the defense. So already, before that.
Mm-hmm.
So. All right, let's move on to receiver. Are we good with that? I think we're running back for quite a while. We talked a lot about Tevin Coleman, honestly, which I liked. I like that. I think
I'm glad because we can't talk enough about him. At least,
especially because he's right there under Gio. I think it's a really good call to talk about.
And he's gonna come in higher owned than he shows right now. There's just no way that the Sharps missed that. Matter.
I mean, I don't think there's a case for playing him over Gio, but playing him with Gio.
I think there's a super valid case, man. Like his team's projected to score more points. They're both
and they're home.
I mean, McCaffrey caught 14 passes against Atlanta week 2. Then Kamara caught 15 last week, and then I think Gio had 10 targets last week as the lead back. I don't know.
For sure.
He just seems like a lock for 6, 7, 8+ catches.
I think I could easily see my. I think I might as well just lock in Zeke, Gio, and Coleman. I know
it sounds so good to me, honestly.
Yeah. I think that kind of just is where rosters start this week for me, at least.
That's contrarian because I don't think because Coleman and Zeke aren't going to be chalky, and Kamara and fading Kamara is going to be. I'm not really scared of it, but it's just everyone's going to go there. So
everyone's going to Kamara for sure.
So we're just going to have like a contrarian roster construction by nature.
Do we want to talk about what we prefer Kamara on our? I think this is how we're viewing it. Basically, Kamara is more valuable of a player when his receiving role is going to be more utilized. And in this game, we don't think that his receiving game will be as utilized. That's basically the gist.
Right.
Yeah, and we're not saying that he's a bad play because I think he has a pretty safe floor for like 17, 18 points, like no matter what.
Yeah, with the catches, it's crazy.
Just 9,600 is very expensive. I think he's more playable on FanDuel for sure.
I mean, him elevating to this sort of like just jam him in kind of thing is, I mean, like, look at those 3 guys we just listed, Zeke, Coleman, and Bernard. That's a lot of touches, man. But
look what Kamara did last week. He had like 32 touches. Right.
No. I know.
Kamara probably got 2 times as many targets. Not Saquon, but other than the other 2, he's probably got
I'm like, I know that, but like, if Kamara gets 19 touches this week, this is a 19-touch Kamara week.
It is.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
This is you see his week 2, where he got 13 carries and 6 targets, and he caught all 6 of them. That's the Kamara week that we're looking at.
Yeah, that's what we're expecting for sure.
Because this is a matchup that it kind of sets up like that Cleveland game, sort of have a lead, run the ball a little bit, run with a few other guys, and then use Kamara in certain sets. Kind of just like, and I mean, you don't want to be running Kamara into Snacks Harrison. That's not the ideal game plan. So, I think if they got the lead, we might not see that much Kamara. And if he's only getting 19 touches or something, give me the guys who are getting 20 plus, because all 3 of those running backs that we listed before, they're all getting 20 plus.
Yep.
Are there injuries that we didn't mention, by the way? Because I just pulled up. I've got the Corey Clement questionable. I've got the Chris Carson questionable here. I think both. They have any fantasy relevance? Taylor, I think you'd.
No, I think it's pretty irrelevant to where I'm going this week.
And what about that 49er situation? If one was out or if both are out, is there anywhere you go there?
Yeah, if I could pronounce his name correctly. I think he's a good value.
Kyle Juszczyk. They were just going to –
Yeah.
Yeah. Juszczyk week?
He's 3.1K.
He's 3.1K if they're both out.
Yeah, so it's a decent look, but I don't know.
And
Definitely.
really, if they're both out, we're gonna have to see what happens on that morning. But I don't think both of them are gonna be out. They're both questionable, and one of them, I believe, was limited in practice like through the entire week. And if that's the case, it usually
Yeah, Breida. I don't think Breida is playing this week. I don't
Okay.
think so.
Well,
Definitely worth a look.
that means that means the use check might already be interesting to me because his main role is as a pass catching back.
I just think that the running back position this week is just
It's just
and playing that seems
I'm not playing Kyle.
and it's also
seems like you're getting cute.
Beathard's the quarterback too. So.
Yeah, this is disgusting. They're projected for like 12.
I'm like
13 points.
Yeah.
I cannot talk about this.
All right, wide receivers are at the top. Also the Chris Carson. There's nothing on Chris Carson that we're not concerned about that at all because he's a game time decision, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, if he plays, like, you just hope he's not limited. I mean, but if all things are like a full go and he's getting another 30 touches like he did last week, then
I mean, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. Seattle's so stupid. I mean, he gets 6 and 7 carries the first 2 weeks, and then he just gets 32.
Yeah. 3.2.
I mean, you can't really trust it at all.
They literally jammed him like 3.2 average.
It's not even like he was playing well. It was 32 carries for 102 yards. Like, that's not good.
They did not care. They really didn't care. Man, there's so many bad NFL coaches right now, man. It's crazy.
They've always been there. Now they're just getting exposed. Finally.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, they have no talent anymore.
All the good coaches are finally like, oh, look what we can do by going for it on fourth.
It's just Russell Wilson and versus the world.
I know.
It's Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson's honestly not been great either, man, though.
I mean, what can he do, man?
He's cheap. He's cheap on DraftKings, 5,600. I mean, he's still averaging over 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, let's talk about wide receivers. Yeah.
Still averaging over 2 touchdowns a game, Russell Wilson.
At the top, are we all Beckham? Are we all Beckham, or where is it? What's the thought at the top here?
I mean, I don't even know what the chalk is going to be. It's definitely not going to be Odell, and definitely not going to be Julio, just based off of recency bias. Everyone's going to be off Julio, so I love Julio this week just because everyone's going to be on Ridley. I feel like Ridley's going to be chalk again, which is really stupid. I don't know. Julio Jones still leads the league in air yards, and I know Drake Kirkpatrick for the Bengals isn't really anyone to target, but with the team total being that high and it being Julio Jones at low ownership, you're going to get Julio Jones. I bet in tournaments he's going to be like 10%. I really like that. And I know you guys like Odell. Let Addy talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, just to touch on Julio, I love Julio. I think that's like super sharp because I see him projected for around 10% in a lot of places. And I see Ridley actually as like projected chalk, which is crazy. I mean, it makes sense. Like he's a fine play just like on his own. But the fact that he's going to be massive chalk when he could arguably be the wide receiver 3 on this team. I mean, maybe Atlanta. I mean, they still have Mohamed Sanu. They still have a ton. There's a lot of mouths.
They still have Hooper. They're still going to use Coleman in the running game. Yeah.
Mohamed Sanu revenge game.
Say it again.
Mohamed Sanu revenge game.
Did he play for Cincy?
Yeah, that was such a long time ago.
Yeah, bro. He started the league in Cincy as the number 2 for AJ Green.
Yeah.
Really? I don't even remember that.
For sure, bro.
Yeah. A long time ago. It was 2015.
Are like what's the thought on? You want to keep talking about Julio? Sorry.
Nah, I just think he's a great play, and the fact that I just saw that his ownership is supposed to be so low.
I think he's a cash game play for what it's worth. Yeah. I probably won't go there, but I wouldn't blame you for going there.
Yeah, most definitely.
If that's another place you could go up, or if you go down at running back. But
yeah, but just to, I mean, I guess I'll go on a little OBJ talk for a second because that's who I'm going to be really
30% target share.
That wide receiver,
that's the first thing you can say right there. And Evan Ingram's out now.
Evan Ingram's out. I mean, this is already a fairly narrow target distribution for Eli. I mean, it's really Odell, Barkley, Shepard, and Ingram. And Ingram not that much. Now you take Ingram out of there, it becomes very, very narrow.
It's literally jam Odell for me. For me, it's jam Odell.
Yeah.
Like I can't see a way where I don't play Odell in this matchup. Like the Saints are going to be running around trying to cover Odell Beckham, and it's literally going to be funny. Like
It's gonna be funny. Yeah, I mean, Odell, for what it's worth, has crazy home road splits as well. He averages over 100 yards per game at home, under 90 yards on the road. The secondary is a mess. New Orleans secondary is arguably in one of the biggest messes of the league. It's up there with Tampa. Tampa secondary is a mess. New Orleans secondary is a mess, and these guys are going to expose it. They know they need to get the ball out of Eli's hand quick. They know they need to get the ball into Odell or Saquon's hand quick. They know that their talent lies in their playmakers, and I think they're going to do it. And I think this is good. This could be a blow up Odell game. Like
Odell's like yet to blow up this year, and this really seems like the spot.
I'm not going to miss it. I'm not going to miss it.
So I guess I don't know where Taylor will go with our optimal team. Obviously, Taylor does optimal teams for us and puts them out. For me, I'm gonna go Odell and Tyler Boyd most likely. That's probably what's gonna happen. I like Tyler Boyd's price still on DraftKings. They obviously did not move up far enough. He's a 4.6K. In this matchup, I really like him. But and we might get to him in a second. But before we get there, Sterling Shepard is sitting at 5K, and you guys both like Sterling Shepard. So if you guys, let's just go with the idea that you guys have Beckham in your lineups now. Are you guys gonna just go with a double?
Well, I think the popular thought process is that, like last week when Atlanta faced New Orleans, that Marshawn Lattimore is going to cover Odell like he did Julio, and then Sterling Shepard's going to go off like Calvin Ridley did last week. But I mean, Marshawn Lattimore got dusted the first 2 weeks. He just had a really good game against Julio, and Calvin Ridley was running hot, so they just kept going back to him. I think Odell Marshawn Lattimore is no match for Odell Beckham. It's just pretty clear. I think people are going to go away just because of what happened to Julio last week. But it is true that Sterling Shepard is going to be covered by Ken Crawley and P.J. Williams, who are two of the worst cornerbacks in the league. And with Evan Ingram out, he's been getting a lot more targets. He's going to get a lot more targets this week. It's going to be the easier coverage. The Giants team total slowly creeping up. I do like Sterling Shepard a lot. I think he seems pretty safe for 5 or 6 catches. It's a price play for the most part. Don't expect a huge game, but I think it's really safe.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything's official, obviously, because it's like Saturday night.
Right.
Friday night. My bad. Saturday morning because it's so late. This is a classic like double stack spot, as obvious as it gets. You know, like the target distribution is so black and white here with like Odell and Sterling Shepard. I just think like I love it. I love that spot. I think that's how my lineup might kind of just that build because I love Eli. We already talked about Eli. And I think this is an easy spot. I think one of my sports bets that I may even talk about is going to be this over too as well. This New York Giants over. I like that a lot.
I was talking about earlier. Wow, why am I blanking? This is really bad on the Detroit running back that I was just talking about earlier.
Kerryon Johnson.
Carry on. And I was talking about him as if he'd be a favorite because I was just pulling up Kenny Golladay. I like his price on DK 6.5K. And they're 3-point dogs at Dallas.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like Zeke so much, just because it's going to be rare that the Cowboys are favored.
But
anytime.
But were we going to talk about that line?
Yeah, I think it's just a classic letdown spot considering they just upset the Patriots.
But Detroit isn't like fake good. They're not fake. Their offense isn't fake good. Their offense is going to put up points. Their offense is putting up points.
But Stafford still is very turnover prone.
True.
I mean, I wouldn't blame you for
the Dallas defense that doesn't really do anything too well. Like against
you're right. It's a super generous line for a Dallas team that hasn't shown anything yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is generous. I will agree. But the Lions they may have like a bottom 3 defense in the league. Like they are awful. And Ziggy Ansah's out, and their middle linebacker, I'm blanking on his name, but he's also out this week.
It's not as much Dallas being favored as much as it is the Detroit 20 team total.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I like Golladay regardless, 6.5K. And
but I think
what I was gonna move on to with wide receiver is the mid range here. I know Will Fuller is ending up looking to be a little bit chalky again. People keep going there. He's 6.8K this week on DraftKings here. Like I said, I like Galladay, but anywhere in this kind of let's call it like 7K to 5.5K in there maybe. Guys, anyone in there you like, or do you just want to kind of move on and move down?
7 to 5K.
Yeah, somewhere in there, 7 to 5K.
Yeah, I think I like Allen Robinson a lot, 5.9K. His target share is just over 30%. If you ever watch Mitchell Trubisky play, he's really, really bad, and he's more of just like a one read quarterback, and it's all the first read's always going to be Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
And Tampa Bay, we talked about it earlier. They're 30th in the league against the pass. They're pretty awful. I don't know. His target share is just super high, and at 5.9K. I don't know. There's really just nothing. There's not much to it. It's other than the target share is really high, and it's a really good matchup. Other than that,
yeah. And he's 9th in the league in weighted opportunity rating as well.
Yeah, he's just waiting to blow up. It's kind of like it reminds me of the Robert Woods situation before he blew up. Week 3. Yeah, before he blew up week 3, we knew Robert Woods he was due to blow up just because the opportunity was there, the air yards were there. It's kind of the same thing with Allen Robinson to a lesser extent, just because the offense isn't as explosive as the Rams, but he is the clear number 1, so he is due for a big game.
I like that call. I like it. I was looking at Kenny Galladay, and I noticed that Tate's questionable. He popped up on the injury report on Friday. With a limited participant. So something to keep an eye on, because Tate's out. Target distribution should kind of tilt toward Galladay. But
I mean, that would be big ups to Marvin Jones at 5.2K.
That too. And he's super cheap. Marvin Jones is super cheap.
I've been talking about this all year, though. Like, Marvin Jones really isn't that much different than Kenny Galladay in air yards and targets and stuff. And he's just, like, considerably cheaper. At 5.2K, that's kind of crazy. The reason I think I was going to touch on this, why I think the Lions team total is so low, is just because I think the game's going to play really slow.
Yeah.
They're not going to have very many opportunities. I think the Lions are going to try to run the clock or do the same thing to the Cowboys. I think it's going to be just them running on both sides. It's just going to be a slow game. It's just when you're playing the Cowboys, that's their game plan because they're so bad everywhere. They're going to try to play defense and then run the clock out and not snap the ball until 2 seconds.
Right. I think another guy I kind of like in that Allen Robinson range, actually right next to him, is Chris Hogan. I just think if this was week 1, Chris Hogan would be the fattest chalk, you know? I mean, we know he's gotten a combined, 14 targets the first 3 weeks. His target share has just not been there. But if this is the Tom Brady get-right game, then it could very well be the Chris Hogan get-right game as well. Because we've seen Miami get rinsed in the slot. Chris Hogan versus Detroit, he ran a season-high 23 routes from the slot. We saw Jordy Nelson rinse him. We saw Quincy Nunlund rinse him. And if Tom Brady's going to get right, man, it's going to be Gronk, and it's going to be especially with Rex Burkhead out, with not a lot of pass game production coming from the running back as of now. Obviously, they could get James White involved, and kind of not knowing the role that Josh Gordon is going to have on this offense yet. This could really, and that role could really be positive for Chris Hogan as well. This could really be the get-right game for this Patriots offense in general, and that's Chris Hogan. And the fact that he's 5.8K on DraftKings, I mean, it'll be really crazy when he gets 12 targets, 10 of them, over 100 yards and a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, it's not like he's going to go a year without getting that. I mean, going into the year, we thought that he was going to be the clear number 1 receiver, at least in the meanwhile while Edelman was out, but it just never came into fruition. But this definitely could be the week. The more that we talk about the Patriots, the more I think that Tom Brady's just going to throw 4 or 5 touchdowns this week.
Yeah, it kind of just makes sense.
It just makes sense because I think I saw that I saw a stat on Twitter the other day that when the Patriots lose 2 games, their third game, it doesn't happen very often, but they win by like an average of like 20 points. So I wouldn't be surprised because it's the Dolphins.
I'm gonna commit. I could definitely be wrong, but I am going to commit myself to being off the Patriots. Just in general, I'm not. I might be wrong. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and just say I'm gonna say this seems like this one feels different for some reason. It just feels different. I don't know.
I mean, he's 41.
Not even with just him. It feels like it's different with Belichick too. I don't know. But maybe not. Maybe not. That game last week just felt weird though. I will say, talking about all these mid-range receivers, I constantly just kept thinking about Sterling Shepard and Tyler Boyd. I think they're both better options at their prices.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think Addy, are you in the same place? What do you think? Do you think about the same thing?
I'm not ready to write off the Patriots yet. I know.
No, I'm not talking about the Patriots. I'm talking about the receivers.
Oh, I think that kind of ties into it. I don't think I'm ready to write off.
Okay,
the Patriots.
all right.
I really think it'll be really not surprising at all. Like at all, if Tom Brady just shreds this Miami team, like literally just like instills his alpha in this division, just like 5 touchdowns, 400 yards, just goes full Pat Mahomes on these guys. So that could easily happen and not surprise anyone. I mean, this is still Tom Brady, still Bill Belichick until it plays out for a longer amount of time.
Definitely.
There's just going to be edge to be had. The fact that
in no way would I be betting against the Patriots. In no way. No way.
Yeah, it's crazy. I agree. It does feel weird. And there was a lot of talk about this kind of being the season already.
Like, that's every year, though.
But I think it felt more real this year. I will say that because it felt like there was real, actual talk. Honestly, some stuff inside the Patriots.
Then Belichick just kept running Michelle into the line last week. And you're just like,
yeah,
it was just like not sharp.
Yeah,
it was just uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable how many times it was like 2nd and 9 and they just ran them. It was definitely uncomfortable. But I mean, if we just see him, here's the thing, man. Like, if I just picture the first drive of the game, like if the first drive of the game is just a bunch of just quick outs, Gronk, Hogan, White, Gronk, like I'm gonna be jealous that I don't have any action to that as that game goes on. If they're just letting Tom Brady just throw it like that. Which is probably what it's going to be because this is a pass funnel situation as well, which is another thing that we haven't talked about. The fact that the Dolphins are great against the run and struggle in the pass.
Yeah.
And Belichick is the coach, not to keep like interrupting and dragging the point on, but Belichick, we know him to be the guy who obviously attacks defensive weaknesses. Like that's what he does. That's why he ran the ball so much versus Detroit. And I think he's probably going to pass the ball a lot versus Miami.
I wish that James White was cheaper. I saw him earlier. I was going to mention him, but I mean, the price, you can't really consider him on DraftKings.
Right. Yo, before we move on from wide receiver, I just saw this at I know. Okay, so it's Quincy Enunwa at 4.3K. I know that it's away in Jacksonville, but his target share is still around 30%. And with his ADOT being so low, I would imagine that they're going to be playing from behind. And his target share is at 30%. Not his ADOT's so low. I don't know. It seems like another game where he gets 6 or 7 catches pretty easily, just running across the middle.
For sure, it feels pretty safe.
This seems really cheap. I don't know. I really haven't looked into it that much. I just saw that off top, but
yeah.
He does seem cheap. It's a tough matchup.
For sure.
That's the only thing. All right. I'm just gonna put one more mention in here of Jakeem Grant. I'm just kidding. I mentioned him on the preview podcast. I had no idea he only ran 4 routes last week, but I'm still gonna mention him as an explosive player, but he's not gonna get there.
He's an explosive player.
He's an explosive player who might do something, but you should not play. I did not know he only ran 9 pass routes. I mentioned him on the preview podcast. Speaking of the Patriots, at the top, if we're gonna pay up here at tight end, which I don't think any of us have done this year in our cash builds on the main teams. That said, if we're gonna pay up here, Gronk, Ertz, anyone? No.
I mean, Gronk for all the same reasons that I've already talked about much.
Right.
Like,
so it's like
it's all the same.
Because what we have numbers wise with the Patriots is our stats that don't show we should be playing them for their prices.
Right. But all we have on the Patriots is just like a decade of dominance. So
and they're playing the Dolphins coming off a big loss on national television, public embarrassment.
Yeah, I don't know if it's more personal because I just seen Tom Brady do this so many times to the Broncos and just in general, just start slow and then just tear the league apart starting about week 4. So I don't know. Until I see it for a long period of time, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was the end of the dynasty. I wouldn't be surprised or anything, but I'm gonna have to see it happen with my own 2 eyes. It's just kind of how greatness goes, and if it's gonna be under-owned, then I'll try and take advantage of it while it goes.
Yo, how weird is it that the Patriots, like their clear number 1 receivers going into the year was Gronk and Hogan. They're just like consistently getting 4 and 5 targets a game. So
Yeah. And now it's like, which way do we think that goes, Probably
I mean,
up.
it's got to positively regress.
Probably up. I mean, we've got like years of seeing that these guys consistently get double-digit targets. I mean,
Yeah.
I think this might regress, and it might regress hard. Things tend to regress hard, so we'll see.
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna eat the Eric Ebron chalk again with Doy out yet again, just because he played 88% of the snaps last week. He got 4 and 5 targets the first 2 weeks, and then he blew up for a team high 11 targets last week. And Luck isn't. I don't know. He's not healthy right now, or he's just not nearly where he was before. And that nearly takes out T.Y. Hilton. So he's pretty much Ebron. I would be surprised if he didn't lead the team in targets yet again.
Addy, any tight ends outside of that you're on? I know you're on because you don't like eating tight end chalk.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like Tyler Eifert a lot in that price range. He's seen his snap rate increase every week. He's up to 65%. His route totals have increased. His targets have increased. He got 8 targets last week. I mean, the 3 most important positions when covering a tight end are all injured for Atlanta: Deion Jones, Keanu Neal, and Ricardo Allen. I mean, their strong safety, their free safety, and their middle linebacker are all out. So I think Tyler Eifert. I mean, we've seen Atlanta be a spot to attack with tight ends, as has the other side of this game been with Austin Hooper. But we've seen Atlanta be a spot to attack, and I think Tyler Eifert is an interesting pivot off of Tyler Boyd. If you don't want to eat that chalk, I think that's an interesting way to go, because I think he will come in way under-owned with the Ebron chalk, which I also like a lot.
And yeah, it's the same reason why Giovanni Bernard's going to be chalk. It's because the Falcons have Desmond Trufant and Robert Alford. Their outside corners are so good. It just by nature pushes everything towards the middle. That's why it's weird for me this week, because I love Gio. I love Tyler Boyd, who plays 68% of his snaps in the slot. Is going to be facing Brian Poole in the middle, who just gets gashed seemingly every game. And Tyler Eifert, who when you're not, it's not dumpster diving, but when you're getting a cheap tight end like that, you're searching for touchdown upside, and that's where he's mainly used. It's inside the 20s.
I mean, I'm playing David Njoku at tight end. Like, I'm for sure playing him.
Fish.
You've locked that in?
Yeah, I'm for sure. I just think it's a perfect game script. Raiders can't cover tight ends. I think Baker Mayfield is – I think that Njoku is a piece that the Browns want to use. I know this. This is a fact. And
I think
Tyrod
he just sucks.
Cannot get him the ball. Tyrod cannot get this man the ball in accurate, good passes that he could make a move with. Never. It didn't happen. So this is the week I'm gonna play Njoku. I love what I saw with him with Baker last week. So
I don't know, man. This Raiders defense has been all right. They've been all right. They've kind of held their own in a few spots. I think it's a tough spot. That's all I'm saying. For Cleveland, it's a really tough spot in general. I think that offense might struggle.
I think Njoku's he's just an athletic freak who sucks at football. I mean, he struggles heavily with drops.
He struggles heavily with drops. Yeah, I mean, he's had a few this year, and he had some last year too.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously Baker Mayfield's a huge benefit. We saw the minute Baker Mayfield came in, it looked like the whole Browns offense was rejuvenated. Njoku, I think he caught 2 passes on that first drive.
Yeah, and then that was it. He only had 2 targets.
Yeah, and I mean, we know, it's kind of like the oldest thing in time. Like, rookie quarterbacks tend to favor their tight ends. So
they're going to be down in this game.
Yeah, so it sets up well for him. And if he has a great game, I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't know. I really like Tyler Eifert. I think he's honestly my favorite out of all those guys.
Yeah, it's just like when I can get a tight end for 3.6K it's hard for me to imagine a scenario where Eric Ebron gets less than 8 targets. I just don't know how you faded me, guys.
Yeah, Ebron.
It's just they're going to be tossing the ball so much, and Andrew Luck's he throws 5 yards down the field.
That's it. That is crazy. It's such a crazy thing. He cannot throw the ball deep. Yeah. They literally brought in Jacoby Brissett to throw a Hail Mary pass at the end of the game. They can't. He just can't do it. So Ebron, Ebron's just like
Ebron's gonna be around the ball just like Zach Ertz is around the ball. I feel like
Ebron's a bad football player. Like he's not,
he's not good.
He's not gonna be efficient with those targets, but 11 targets. I mean, he caught 5 of them, and he's still. I mean, 8.3 is not a lot, but it's still surpassed value. So
for that cheap, I'll take that every day. I mean, if you tell me that's how many points I'm gonna get out of him by playing him for 3.6K, I'll take it.
And he caught less than half his targets, less than 50%.
Exactly. So. It's unlikely to happen again.
Maybe it's Eric.
It's Eric Ebron.
Nah, but for sure. He's great.
It's hard for me to like plug in Marshawn Lynch in my lineup. This is like random. I was thinking about playing Njoku and having a game stack and Marshawn Lynch on this. I think that work out very well. But it's hard for me to plug him in on DK with PPR for me. But still, I think that's an interesting game stack for me. Like Pitt.
I mean, they've used him a little more as a pass option. He's caught a couple targets in each game, or a couple passes in each game. But I don't know. I'm just really not on him with so many.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, I was just closing thoughts personally. Moving on to defense.
Yeah, for sure.
Defensively, I think let's just real quick a defense. The top
you just
defense,
play the Bears.
Top overall, top. Oh yeah. At 2.6,
Yeah.
Yeah, play the Bears, or you can hedge with the Cardinals.
The Chargers might be the highest owned at 3.6 against the 49ers.
3.9.
I've got them at 3.6 on. They're at 3.9.
Yeah, they're at 3.9.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, cool. 3.9. Second.
Yeah.
Joey Bosa's out again. Joey Bosa's supposed to be out until after their bye week, which is rough. That really downgrades their defense a lot. But, I mean, it's hard to imagine C.J. Beathard moving that offense. Dude, the 49ers, that's so rough that they lost Jerick McKinnon and Jimmy GQ.
I mean, it's like when it comes to defenses, like, just target takeaway spots. Like, that's like where we go for defenses.
I'll give you one.
I mean, go ahead.
Actually, I don't think any of them are better than I don't think any are better than the Bears for the price though.
No.
Yeah, I think that's probably.
I think the Bears might be the best overall, to be honest.
Especially considering how good that defense is.
Yeah, it's insane.
I really like the Bears, but I do think there's a case to be made for the Cardinals. The Cardinals have the 8th highest adjusted sack rate. I talked about them on my Addy's Action GPP plays. 8th highest adjusted sack rate, and the Seahawks have the 2nd highest adjusted sack rate for their offensive line. It's like 13.1%. It's really crazy. They're letting Russell Wilson just get hit every single time he snaps the ball. So I do think Arizona could come up with a few takeaways in this matchup.
Yeah, I tried that last week with the Dallas Cowboys defense, and they
it didn't work, but it wasn't Seattle, which in hindsight, taking the defense in Seattle is probably not like the smartest move. But like I did it too, so did 50%.
Well, they were like 2.1K. It was definitely
that's the thing. They were 2.2K, and Zeke was opening up as a pretty good play as well, so paired well. But Christian, go ahead and give us your defense take.
No, I'm good. I'm just gonna stick with the Bears. I think
Bears. Yeah, Bears is definitely probably the top option, just talent wise. Like, but I do think the Cardinals for the exact same price are an interesting pivot.
Right, and with a defense being chalky, you don't have to play them. It's a defense, like anything can really happen. So, like, look at the Vikings last week; they just got destroyed. If you paid up for the Vikings defense last week against the Bills, I'm sorry. That's one reason why you never pay up for defense.
Yeah, or Dallas. I mean, look what happened to the Dallas chalk; it got murdered.
Yeah, exactly. See, both chalks, they were probably the 2 chalkiest defenses for sure.
Right.
I will say that I feel like Russell has been a little bit less protective of the ball this year, maybe especially on short throws. I feel like he's willing to take risks and spots that usually I feel like in the past he would have just either tucked and ran or done something else. I don't know. I feel like he's done a lot of times he's not making smart decisions this year as opposed to usually. He's part of the reason why that's Seattle. It's not like Pete Carroll's not the only reason Seattle is struggling. So.
Yeah, it seems like Russ is trying to force it a few too many times this year. And I think,
he's still finding his guys, especially deep. But I feel like around where he's trying to make something happen short, just move the chains, maybe something like that. I feel like he's not as efficient this year. So he makes a lot more mistakes. That's watching him. I feel like he has this year. But all right, I think that should be about it. We should be back hopefully for Monday and Sunday.
Wait, we gotta do our giveaway.
Oh yeah, we gotta do our giveaway, right? I had someone pulled up here.
Big giveaway. Big giveaway.
Yeah, for all of those who haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, we are Locks DFS over there. We may or may not be doing another giveaway. Who knows? So just subscribe just in case.
We probably will.
We're putting out videos
we
pretty much
always-
every day.
We're always doing giveaways pretty much.
Yeah, there's a good chance there's a giveaway at the end of most of videos. You know, like you never know because like the way I mean, probably not all those like little breakdowns and stuff that we do, but a lot of the pods and stuff, like most of those will probably have giveaways at the end of them.
All right, I've got the member here. It's or I might not be a member yet. I've never seen this person, but Dion Barksdale. It's Smiles SMILEZ 216 at Smiles 216. Dion Barksdale. All right, so that's just DM us if you see this. If you don't see this, we'll pick another winner and we'll DM that person. So yeah, this will be on YouTube and iTunes. So if you're not hearing this, then you should be listening to us, I guess.
Yeah, we're trying to pump out as much free content as we can. And so all we ask is that you please just like subscribe to us on YouTube and like subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to it. It helps us more than you would imagine.
For sure.
All right, all of our content will be on locksdfs.com. Taylor's got cheat sheets up. Obviously, we've got all the videos on YouTube, and we've also Addy's got his GVP plays up, and we're also going to have, of course, the lineups on the website on Sunday mornings. So we'll pretty much usually get those out just after inactives, usually when we get them out. So check those out there. And for Locks DFS, that's our week 4 preview for you guys. So hopefully you guys can build some good lineups, win some money, and come back. And we'll see you guys all back
And
here
get
probably for Sunday Night Football.
Get the NBA NHL passes. Season starts Wednesday for NHL people. Wednesday. Limited spots. Make sure you get in because we're not going to saturate the field in NHL. Those contests aren't big enough. So make sure you get in early in NHL.
All right. See you guys soon.
Peace.
Peace.